Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to do a quick live video that's going to have an awesome amount of gems and nuggets in it. It's Jonathan Belcher here. If you're tuning in on this Facebook live broadcast, just make sure you drop your name and the state that you're from. But this is for those of you who are really trying and you're really serious about making money online full time, right? A lot of you know that I've been making money online full time for the past 3 years now. It was when I was actually able to quit my 9-to-5 job was 3 years ago. And then ever since 3 years ago, I've been able to make money online full time. So you're not talking to somebody who kind of does the online thing, who does it every once in a while, who shows up, when they feel like it. No, you're talking to somebody who does this, and you're talking to a credible source who earns income, makes a living. I make my living full time from making money online. Everything in my life changed because of this business, because of this profession. Everything in my life changed. I walked away from my job, was able to travel the world, even do my own events, even go to attend events in multiple different states, in multiple different cities and stuff like that. So this is for you if you want to make money online full time and truly step into your boss leadership position and making money with this business. Now, the very first step to getting started to your journey to success with this business, right? The very first step there's kind of like phases, right? There's basically phases when it comes to making money online full time that you will come across, right? And the very first phase is the building phase, right? The building phase of making money online. Fortunately and unfortunately, the building phase is where most people actually give up, right? And that's the very first phase, right? The very first phase of building is the hardest phase, right? That's the toughest phase. And the reason why the building phase, the first phase of making money online full time, is the hardest phase is because this is a brand new arena to you, right? Maybe you've never had experience in business before in the past. It could be multiple reasons, right? You're trying to basically feel your way. Yeah, you can be learning from a mentor. Yeah, you can be observing people having success in the business, but it's a totally different story when you go out there and do things for yourself, right? It's a totally different story when you go out there and actually start taking action for yourself. But there's some type of foundation that you must start building on if you want to get to a point of earning residual income and doing less work, making more money. You see, because it's very easy for us to say, we want to be financially free, right? We want to quit our jobs and we're tired of the pay at our jobs. But are we willing to build something that will allow us to walk away from our job, right? Are we willing to have the long nights, early mornings, right? Are we willing to lose sleep for this financial freedom, right? What are we willing to give up to gain what we want, right? So the very first phase of making money online full time, I'm not talking about part time, I'm talking about making this as your living, what you want to do, is building. You got to build on a foundation, right? For me, my building foundation was on YouTube, right? I used a lot of free strategies to build a foundation, right? Now, once you have a foundation built, after that, you build on that. And the second phase is like, getting results and stuff like that, making sales, making money. And then you step into credibility, right? But the thing is that most times, because of the struggle we have to deal with in the first phase, we never get to the later phases on where all the rewards, all the success comes, right? All the money starts to come in the later phases, not in the building phase. The building phase is when you're brand new, right? You're a new face in the market. This is a new thing for you. This is probably a new business. So in the building phase, that's going to be the toughest phase for the obvious reasons, right? It's a lot of trial and error. You got to be willing to make mistakes. You got to be willing to adjust to things. You got to be willing to push through that phase and build on something. You got to be willing to start from somewhere, right? Now, the main thing that keeps so many people from their success, from getting past the first phase, which is the building phase of making money online full time, is they expect to be perfect, right? They think that, if I mess up in the building phase, or if I'm not getting the results I want in the building phase, then this is not for me, or this won't work, right? And that is the worst thing that you can ever do to your dreams, is give up on the phase of building, right? Because you can't get to the phase of making more money doing less work. You can't get to the phase of being financially free unless you get past the building phase. So I always tell people, like, if you really want to be successful, you just might as well face what it's going to take to be successful, right? If you really want to be successful, you just might as well face it, be okay with it, and then just start taking action and start building. Don't try to be perfect, right? Because if you try to be perfect, what's going to happen is you need to mess up to learn to get better. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I wanted to be the best basketball player in the world, right? And let's just say I wanted to be the best basketball player in the world. And the way that I learned how to become the best basketball player in the world was I kept watching Michael Jordan flicks every day, all day at my house, right? Just think about that for a second. Now, when I actually physically step foot on that court, am I going to play as good as Michael Jordan? No, I'm not, right? I can't expect to play the game like Michael Jordan does. The way how a lot of people go about business is they start off the game and they're wondering why I'm not playing like Michael Jordan. Well, you haven't practiced like Michael Jordan has, right? You haven't actually been in the game like Michael Jordan has. You haven't missed as many shots as Michael Jordan has. You haven't taken as many shots as Michael Jordan has. You haven't played as many games as Michael Jordan have. And that's why the first time you step foot on the court the first time, you can expect your game to be as perfect as Michael Jordan. But I'll tell you one thing is that you made the decision to step foot on that court, right? And that's the most important part, right? You got started from somewhere. And now once you get started from somewhere, you can become great at something. But when you expect to become great at something you've never done before, that's actually ignorance, right? So we have to learn how to see what we eventually want and realize that we have to get it past some phases to get there, right? There's some phases you got to get past to become a full entrepreneur making money online full time, right? Now, the next thing is that I see a lot of people doing, right, that you must do if you want to make money online full time is you have to start operating in your life and your business, right? Both your life and your business. You got to start operating from a place of faith and not fear, right? You have to start operating from a place of faith and not fear, right? And what do I mean by that, right? What I mean by that is that sometimes we hold ourselves back because we're afraid of what the reaction may be from our friends. We're afraid of what the reaction may be from people online. We're afraid of what the reaction may be from people. You know, we're holding ourselves back because we're afraid of something, right? But a lot of times what we're afraid of doing is exactly what we need to be doing to change our life, to change our circumstances, right? To change our bank accounts, right? Because it's almost like, yeah, I want to be in the game, but I want to sit on the sidelines and I'm afraid to play in the game. Well, if you're sitting on the sidelines in your business, you'll never be actually one of the best players in the game, getting those results, living that lifestyle, having financial freedom, right? It just makes common sense because you're not in the game. You're not doing what the real players are doing. You're not doing what the leaders are doing. You're not doing what the successful people are doing. So until you make a decision that, yes, I'm willing to do what the leaders and successful people are doing, then you won't have success, right? That's just common sense across the board in any single field, industry. That's the next thing, right? The next thing that I did after I started moving from a place of faith, right? If you notice, every day I could take action relentlessly is because I'm acting from a place of faith and not fear. That's the only reason why I'm able to take action in my business every single day. I believe in wholeheartedly what I'm selling. I believe in wholeheartedly that I'm helping people. I believe in wholeheartedly that I can help change people's lives. And because of that, I'm constantly acting in a place of faith and not fear, right? I don't care whether or not I make money today, but I know I'm going to do this video, right? I don't care if I make money today, but I know I'm going to send out an email, right? I don't care if I'm going to make money today, but I know I'm going to do stuff in my business because I'm that committed. Because every single action that I take in my business and in my life comes from a place of faith. I'm not fearful of what if this doesn't go right? Oh, what if that goes wrong? Well, guess what? If I'm so fearful of what if this doesn't go right, what if that doesn't go wrong? What if that goes wrong? I can never see the other side. I can never see the success because I'm too fearful of even getting in the game. So I can never see the W, right? The win. We're all in this for the win, right? So you got to understand there's just some things in success, and especially if you want to make money online full time, you got to face, right? And you got to be acting from a place of faith, right? I don't care. There's been times when I thought my videos weren't the best, but I still sent it out because I'm operating from a place of faith, right? There's been times when I thought my blog post probably wasn't the best, but I still sent it out. I've still got my message across because I'm operating from a place of faith, right? There were times when I didn't feel like, probably getting up and doing something, but I still got up and did it for my business because I'm operating where? From a place of faith and not fear. I'm fearful. I'm not fearful at all, right? I'm not afraid of anything. There's nothing for me to be afraid of because truthfully, a lot of the things we're afraid of is all a myth. It's all created by our own mind. It's not really real, right? It's like some type of illusion, right? We're usually fearful of things based on past experiences or based on experiences of other people, what other people tell us, right? So what that means is this. Usually people are fearful of business when they say, oh, I've been in a business before, John, but I didn't make no money. Right? So because they didn't make any money in a previous business, they're fearful now of all the future businesses, right? But you still know that people are successful from business, right? You're still aware that people are successful from business opportunities, whether it happened for you or not, right? Whether it happened for you yet or it's happening every single day. People are having success as entrepreneurs full time, right? So we know it's possible. We know that for a fact to be true. Okay, so what is it when it comes down to you as the individual? Because deep down inside, down to the molecular level, right? When we get down deep into who we are as a person, we're made up of matter, right? Like atoms, neutrons, and electrons and stuff like that, right? But when you get down to the molecule, how we're made from, like energy, we're limitless. We don't have anything holding us back. We don't have anything making us fearful of really anything, really. We're just limitless being, and we have like a limitless, infinite potential to grow, infinite potential. But because of society and the system and the way how things work, and like the school system and all these requirements you need to be successful in competition and all this stuff, we start to build up these fears in our mind. We start to build up these things in our mind that's keeping us from being the greatest we can possibly be, from reaching our greatest potential. But it's not really real, right? It's not really real. And that's the thing, that what we got to realize is that down to the molecular level, we are so powerful beyond what we understand, right? You got to understand that, right? So when you see somebody go from like not being successful to having overnight success, a lot of times it was just them making a decision that, look, I can do this. I know I can do this. That's all it was. They just got to a point where they made a decision like, I'm gonna do this. I know I can do this. And this is the action that I'm gonna take to make it happen, right? So I know you've probably heard of this saying that goes like this. It says, nobody can stop the man with the plan, right? Nobody can stop the man with the plan. And it's the truth, right? It's the truth, because when you have a plan, when you have a vision in mind, and you have a destination in mind, and you know exactly where you're going, even if you hit a couple road bumps on the way there, even if you come across a couple speed bumps, right, or a couple stop signs or a couple stoplights on the way there, you still know where you're going. So eventually, no matter what, you're gonna get there, right? The only time when you don't continue and you don't get to your destination and to your full greatest potential is when you don't have the vision in mind of where you're trying to get to. When you don't have the vision in mind of what your destination is, right? That's the only time, because when you have that already locked in, you know where you're going. The in-between part, well, we can adjust, we can work with that, right? We can move around with that, but eventually we're gonna get there no matter what, right? But that happens when you're operating in your business and in your life from a place of faith, and no longer operating from a place of fear. Most people are operating from a place of fear because they're so focused on what they're gonna lose that they can never gain what they want to gain. Right? I'm gonna say it again. Most people are operating in their life from a place of fear and not faith because they're so focused on what they're gonna lose that they can never gain what they want to gain. Right? So, and I always say this, that whatever you focus on in life is what you're going to get. Whatever you focus on in business is what you're going to get. So if you focus on the gains that you want in life, if you focus on return on investments, if you focus on becoming more successful, if you focus on developing your mindset, if you focus on getting more leads per day, if you focus on, sending out an email per day, if you focus on whatever you focus on, things are going to happen in that wherever you focus, right? So if I focus on the gains, and I focus on my vision, and I focus on financial freedom, I focus on the success I want to have making money online, I want to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I focus on that, eventually things are going to happen that's going to give me exactly what I want. Right? Exactly what I want. So you can choose what to focus on in your life. You can focus on the bad, you can focus on the negativity, or you can focus on the good, you can focus on the positive. Yeah, you may be in a problem right now. Yeah, you may be facing a situation. That's all good. That's all fine, right? You may be facing a situation. I understand that. But you have to understand that people usually make decisions because they're facing a situation that they want to change, right? That's usually why people make decisions. People usually don't make decisions just because for the sake of making a decision. It's something that they know they need to change, and they're ready to make a decision and commit to that decision to actually see the change happen in their life, right? But like I said, you got to be willing to get past the first phase of making money online full time, which is the building phase. The building phase is where the most work goes into because, for example, right? Like if you go online and you see online, like we've been on Google and YouTube and stuff, you'll see I have content out there, right? I have videos done, I have blog posts done. You'll see I have Instagram pages out there. I have all type of stuff out there online for me, that's building for me, right? The foundation that's constantly adding on to my foundation, constantly adding on to my brand, constantly adding on to my business, right? So because I'm constantly building, I'm constantly getting results, right? The only time we stop building is when we stop taking action, right? That's really all it is. Yeah, you may take time to get to a level of building, right? Maybe it may take time to really build a brand to the point where you're making money in your sleep. Yeah, it may take time to do that, but what's going to get you there is that moving from a place of faith and not fear, right? Because if I made my first video and I said, damn, nobody online knows who I am, nobody knows about my business, damn, there's no way I'm gonna ever make money online, right? That would be operating from a place of fear, right? Because I'm telling myself all this stuff that's not even true. How do I know it's true? Because today that wasn't true, right? I made my first video, nobody knew who I was, nobody joined me in business, I didn't make not one dime making my first video, but because I made that first video, now I'm successful today. Right? You see how that works? But what if I would have said, oh, I don't have the network like that guy does. Oh, I don't have the skill sets like that guy does. Oh, I don't have the perfect lifestyle like that guy does. Oh, I'm not perfect on video like that guy is. Oh, I'm not great at emails like that girl is. What if I started doing that, right? Before I even got started on my journey to success? Will I be moving from a place of faith? No, I wouldn't be, because I'm so focused on the stuff that really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that I'm not perfect on video. It really doesn't matter that I didn't have a video out there before and nobody knew about my business yet. It really didn't matter that I made no sales and did my first video. None of that stuff matters. But some of that stuff matters to people and it holds them back when it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. All that should matter is I have a vision, I have a goal, and I want to get started on taking action to that vision and that goal today. That's all that should matter, right? Because it's not about how much times you fall down. It's about how much times you get up in life. That's really what it's about. It's not how much times you fall down. You could fall 28 times, 20, 30 times. If you got up the 31st time, you're winning, right? You could fall 90 times, 99 times. If you got up the 100th time, you're winning, right? And that's really how I look at it in life. But we got to stop moving from a place of fear, and we got to start moving from a place of faith, right? Faith, meaning that no matter what, we believe that good is going to come out of what we do, right? The only time you stop doing stuff, because you're no longer operating from a place of faith, you're operating from some place of fear, and that's what's holding you back. That's what's keeping you back from taking action. That's what's keeping you back from not being consistent. That's what's keeping you back from getting your message out there to the world that can change people's lives, right? But once you start moving from a place of faith, now look, you're going to get this video from me whether or not you like it, right? You're going to get this email from me whether or not you like it, right? Because I have a purpose and a mission to help people who want to be helped, right? And because I know that and I'm perfectly fine with what my mission is, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get the results I'm going to get. And I'm going to help people at the same time, right? So it's all a decision, right? It's all a decision. That's why I say success is really a decision. If a person really, really wants to be successful, they will do whatever it takes to become successful. They really, really want it. They will get to a point where they're like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm fed up with this situation, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And then that's usually when the breakthrough happens. And the reason why is because the success doesn't happen until you've made up in your mind, I can do this. I can do this. It's possible for me. I believe I can do this. Until you've made up that decision in your mind, it's very hard to have success, because everything that happens around you, it just seems like it's going opposite, it's going against you, right? Everything that happens around you it's not in support of your success. It seems like it's all for your failure, right? And that's when we start to adopt what's called the victim mentality, right? The victim mentality, like where we start blaming other people for us not having success, right? We start being bitter for us not having success. And really, we don't have to be like that. All we have to do is make the decisions that those successful people made and be as similar to them as possible. Am I saying be just like them? No, not at all. Don't be just like them, right? Be yourself. But at the same time, there are some things that those successful people are doing, which is why they're successful, right? Common sense will tell us all that. If somebody's successful and you're not, there's something different happening, right? And most times, it's not what you think it is, right? It's not the nuts and bolts and the how-tos. I'm telling you that right now. Because if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the right mindset, then all the nuts and bolts of how to become successful, the how-to stuff, like training and stuff, is irrelevant if you don't have the mindset, right? If you don't have the go-getter mindset, if you don't have that hunger, if you're not operating from a place of faith, all the how-to stuff, it won't even matter. And the reason why it won't matter, I'm going to explain to you why it won't matter. The reason why it won't matter is because there is no strategy that works exactly the same way every single day. I'm going to say that again. There's no strategy in business that works exactly the same way in your business every single day, right? So what that means is this. Somebody can show you how to do something, but that doesn't mean that you start doing it today, that tomorrow you're going to get results from it. I'm going to say that again. Somebody can show you how to do something, but that doesn't mean that if you take action on today, that today or tomorrow you're going to get results from it. But guess what? I'm going to tell you what though, your mindset is what's either going to drive you to continue taking action or what's going to cause you to stop, right? The person with the right mindset, they're going to keep taking action on whatever they were taught. until they get the results they want. And they're going to adjust little by little as they're taking action. The person with the wrong mindset, they're going to have a time frame in their mind. Like, all right, if in 48 hours this doesn't work, or if in 24 hours this doesn't work, oh, this is not possible. This is a scam. This doesn't work for me. That's what the unsuccessful, non-developed minded person is going to say. Right? And you guess what? What's going to happen? The second day, they're not going to get results and they're going to quit. The person who continues taking action, the 10th day is going to come. They're going to get their first sale. The 11th day is going to come. 12th day, they're going to get another sale, and they're going to keep having that momentum build for them. Why? They never stopped on the strategy. It's not the strategy. It's not the strategy that's keeping us from success. It's not the how-to, the nuts and bolts. It's the conviction. It's the consistency. It's the drive. It's the ambition. It's the motivation. It's the stuff that we can't teach that's keeping us from success. It's not the nuts and bolts. We can get all the information right now. I always say this. You go right to Google. You can find out how to do anything right now on Google or YouTube. So if that's really what it is keeping us from success, then why is everybody not rich? The information is there. We have the information. It's not about that, guys. It's about your belief in yourself. It's about your conviction in what you do. It's about how serious you are about what you say you want. It's about your why. Why are you even in this? Who are you trying to help? Whose life are you trying to change besides yourself? That's what this stuff is about. It's not the nuts and bolts. I can show you that all day. I can show you that all day. But having that winner spirit within you, that winner, that just that hunger and that killer instinct, like, look, I'm going to do this. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's a totally different story. That's what you need to have to be successful. That's what you need to have to become financially free. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, once I established that, yeah, I had some success just learning the nuts and bolts. The reason why was from a young age, I've always just been ambitious, right? I've always just been motivated to do better. I've always just been motivated to reach for higher heights. That's always just how I've been from a young age. So even though when I first got started in business, I was able to take action with zero results, making no sales at all. I was able to create something from zero results, $0, take some action from an idea and create results from that, right? And the same can happen for you, but you got to stop looking at money as like some type of barrier, right? Or some type of limiting factor, because money is not that money is limited. It's not about that. It's about your ideas. If you have ideas, an abundance of ideas, you can always create money for yourself. I'm gonna say it again. If you have an abundance of ideas in your head, you can always create money for yourself. And that's why self-development, personal development is the most important thing you need to have success, right? And that's what the National Wealth Center, the first product is, self-development, right? Which is why you see my videos getting better. I'm speaking better and I'm just more convicted and I'm just at a higher level than ever before. At this point in my life is because of the products that I have access to, what I'm learning, what I'm feeding my mind, right? It's just like if you feed your body some junk food every single day, all day, right? Do you expect to, if you do that for years and years on end, right? You feed yourself junk food, you put a whole bunch of junk into your body. Do you expect to stay healthy and to feel good for many, many years to come for the long term? Do you expect to, for when you go to the bathroom and you take a dump and stuff like that, right? Because what happens in life is what goes in comes out, right? What goes in is what comes out, right? So if I'm not putting success in, how can I expect success to come out? I'm gonna say it again. If I'm not putting success into my mind, pouring success principles, thoughts, mindsets into my body, into my mind every day, if I'm not pouring success in, how can I expect success to come out into my life? How can I expect for me to go from 9 to 5 to quitting my job? How can I expect to go from struggling every day, working at this job, living paycheck to paycheck, to traveling more often, if I'm not putting good in to get good out? You see, a lot of times we just want to skip the putting the good in part and we just want to get some good out. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Because you can't just get good out because you haven't put in the good into it first, right? In order for my car, I'm going to give you another example. If I put anything less than super in my car in the gas, it'll mess up the car, right? Because it's junk. I'm putting junk in the car. Like, that's not what it's meant. It's meant to get super gas. It's got to get the highest quality gas. And that's the only way my car will run efficiently, right? That's just how my car is. So even if down to your body, down to cars, if you know that if you put junk in, you're going to get junk out, what makes you think that if you constantly put junk into your mental, that you're going to get success out into your life? Right? So the very first step to becoming successful is first changing your mindset. You gotta change your mindset. If your mindset is the same as it was the last 5 years, yesterday, you're gonna get the same results tomorrow and the next 5 years as well. Because there's nothing changed about your thought process, so there's gonna be nothing changed about your actions. I'm gonna say it again. If there's nothing changed about your thought process, there can't be anything changed about your actions, right? And if there's nothing changed about your actions, there can't be anything changed about your results. Somebody's having a breakthrough. I don't know who it is. I don't know exactly who it is, to be honest with you, who's having a breakthrough. But I know somebody is. I don't know who, but somebody's having a breakthrough. And I can tell you right now that some people have made a new decision today, right? Some people have made a new decision to take their life and business seriously. Some people have made a decision from this video to get started with me in business because they understand, wow, I gotta change my mindset. I gotta change my mindset if I want my life to change. I can't expect things in my life to change if my mindset is still the same, right? Because I told you, the center, you are the temple of everything happening in your life, right? You're like the centerpiece to everything happening in your life. You may not be able to control everything happening in your life, but you can certainly control how you react to everything happening in your life. How do you get to a place in your life where you're reacting to everything that happens to you, whether good or bad, in an empowered way? Ask that question. I'm gonna ask that question one more time so it makes sense. How do we get to a place in our life to where we react to some things that happen to us, whether good or bad, in an empowered way? What does that mean? What I'm trying to say is, in life, good and bad things happen to everybody, right? But some people just feel like, oh, some people are stuck by those bad things that happen to them. Some people are motivated by those bad things that happen to them. Some people are paralyzed by those bad things that happen to them, and they just get, they stop moving. Then some people are inspired by some of the bad things that happen to them. What am I trying to say here? What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that if you've experienced struggle financially, I've experienced that too. If you've experienced being at a 9-to-5 job that you didn't like the pay and you didn't like the hours, or you didn't like the fact that you weren't freedom, I've experienced that too. If you've experienced being at a place in your business where you weren't getting the results you wanted, or you weren't having success and you were frustrated with not getting leads, not getting traffic, not getting sales, I've experienced that too. I've experienced all of that. If you've been in a place in your life where you've experienced not knowing how you're going to eat the next meal, right? How you're going to get lunch today, or how you're going to pay for the next dinner, or I've experienced that too, right? So if I've experienced all of that too, the similar stuff that you've experienced in your life, if you've experienced having close ones in your family who've passed and you feel like you don't know if you're going to make it to the next day, I've experienced that too in my family. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that the same wind blows on all of us, right? The same wind blows on all of us. How we react and what we do with that wind and how we're directed our sail is what makes all the difference, right? Saying that, yeah, it's one thing to know that, yeah, I understand, I get it because I was there, right? But yeah, this may be a problem. I may not like my job. I may not like my pay. That may be a problem. But what's the solution? What's the solution? Am I just going to complain every day about the problem, or am I actually going to take action on something that can change it? What's the solution here? Okay, yeah, I don't like, I don't like the fact that I'm waking up every morning and I'm tired, right? Well, so what's the solution? What's the solution? You're waking up every morning and you're tired. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. And many had problems. Whoever has that, many people have that problem, right? So a solution can be better earlier, right? It can be not part of the solution. Right? What's the solution? What I'm trying to say is that to break through with problems, and it's now you living the life and you actually got the solution. Because that breakthrough, right, is all in how you're thinking. It's all up here. How are you reacting to the problems that's happening to you? Like I said, the same wind blows on everybody, right? So you could I got before, could have got two, I got five, but make all these negative happen in my life back. Things that happen in my life has me and keep served. No, I reacted to it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep thinking like I go in my dreams. One be successful while the other one doesn't. That's something to think about. Two people went through the same stuff, experienced the same stuff, had the same hardships, dealing with the same struggles, dealing with the same situations, yet one makes a decision, has a lot of success, and the other is still in the same spot. Why? It's all up here in your mind, right? You gotta be able to get personally developed, right? You gotta change your thinking. Change your thinking, you change your grind. You change your grind, you change your lifestyle, period, right? A lot of people, we hold ourselves back from the success we deserve. We hold ourselves back from the life we deserve. We hold ourselves back from our full potential because we're operating from a place of fear and not a place of faith, right? Every single day, I'm learning something new in my business because I'm operating from a place of faith. Every single day, I'm taking action in my business because I'm operating from a place of faith. Every single day, I'm shooting out an email in my business because I'm operating from a place of faith. Every single day, I'm finding new people to work for me in my business because I'm operating from a place of faith, right? Whether or not I made $1 today, tomorrow, it doesn't make a difference. I'm operating in my life from a place of faith, right? Because the more I operate from a place of faith, the more I get the results that I want in my life. The more I operate from a place of fear, the more I complain about what I want and I can't get what I want in my life, right? Because what fear is like being afraid of what we don't know of yet. That's what fear is. It's like afraid of the unknown, right? I don't know what to expect when I do this, or I don't know what to expect when, I walk there, right? And that fear, right? That fear so if you don't know what to expect, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just do it? If you don't know what to expect, why don't you just do it and see what happens then? Just see what happens. It might be the biggest breakthrough that ever happens for you in your life. It might completely change the course of your life, right? It might be the best thing you've ever made the decision to do, right? But if you don't know, how can you know to be afraid of it? May I say it again? If you don't know, if it's an unknown area, how can you know to be afraid of it? What about it is making you fearful? I don't know. There's some stuff you gotta think about. And I remember I read this book, right? And another thing too, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, I was talking about Michael Jordan. I love referencing him. And I was talking about how we learn from our mistakes, right? I know society has taught us not to make mistakes, but the only way you're gonna learn in this business and become an online full-time entrepreneur making money online is by being willing to make mistakes, right? By putting yourself out there and being willing to mess up so you can learn, right? It's called trial and error, which means if something doesn't work this way, I'm gonna try it that way and see what happens. Or if it doesn't work that way, I'm gonna try it this way and see what happens. That's how we learn and grow in life and business, right? But I was reading this book, and in this book, this lady had a great seller, right? It was a top seller book. I forget the name of it, but this book had 5 chapters, right? Literally only 5 chapters. And the first chapter, every day in the chapter, like in each chapter, like she would walk out her house, go outside her house. It was dark or whatever. And the first chapter, she walks outside her house. She walks. She falls into a hole, right? Walks out of this house and falls into a hole. That's what happens in the first chapter, right? And then, second chapter, walks out of her house again. Walks. Falls inside the hole again for the second time, the same hole. Remember, it's dark, right? But the third time now, she was aware that the hole was there. By the third time she came outside of her house, she was aware there's a hole there. I know there's a hole somewhere around here. So now, what she was able to do, to maneuver herself in a way to try to die because she was aware of it. And then what happened was the whole time, but she hold way faster than the first time. Remember, the first time she didn't know the hole was there. The second time she was aware the hole was there, right? Because she fell into it again. The third time she was aware the hole was there, and now she was able to move in a way to protect herself from the hole. But she still fell in the hole because she knew exactly where the hole was. She fell the first time. Then the first time, you got that. She got a hold the third time much faster than she did the first time. You believe that fourth chapter, she went around the same thing, walk. She knew where the hole was, and guess what? This time, she was able to walk right around the hole. She didn't hold the hole. Sorry guys, I was actually on the last recording and National Wealth Center just called me because I made a sale, so cut off the live broadcast. But anyway, I'm going to finish up my story about the whole story, right? So the fourth time, right, I said the girl, she had a book, she had a top seller book, 5 chapters in it. First chapter, she fell in the hole that was up the block from her house because she didn't know the hole was there. Second chapter, she fell in the hole again, right? But now she knew the hole was there. Third chapter, she fell in the hole again, right? But she was able to get out of the hole quicker than the first 2 times she fell in, right? By the 4th chapter, she walks down the block, right? Walks down the block, completely sees the hole and was able to move her body in a way to avoid the hole. Because she knew the hole was there. She was aware of the hole. But guess what happened? She was more familiar with the hole than she was the first 3 times. So not only was she able to completely not fall in the hole, but she found a way to get around it, right? And guess what? By the 5th chapter, when she left her house, she completely took a new road. She took a completely different road and completely avoided the hole. Now, what am I trying to say here? Notice what happened here. First chapter, she fell in the hole. She was not aware the hole was there. Second chapter, she fell in the hole again because she was aware it was there, but it was still a new thing for her. Third chapter, falls in the hole, and she was aware it was there, but gets out of the hole much faster than the first 2 times. 4th time, she completely avoids the hole and never falls out of the hole again. 5th time, she takes on a whole nother road to get to her destination. What is the moral of that story? The moral of the story is this. You will eventually figure out where the hole is in your business. You will eventually figure out where the hole is in your life, and you'll be able to avoid it, and you'll be able to reach the success you want, right? But are you willing to possibly fall into that hole? Are you willing to possibly fall into that hole to learn where the hole is so that you can later on avoid it, right? See, a lot of times what we do in life is that we want that instant gratification, right? We want the sale right away. We want to get the money right away, right? But we don't realize that as long as we get the skill sets and we get the groundwork down and we get that mastered, we will never have to worry about money again. We will never have to worry about how the next bill is going to be paid again. We will never have to worry about struggling again as long as we can get past the hole. As long as we can learn how to get past the one hole. But for some reason, we think that it's impossible for us to ever get past the hole. And then everybody else who goes down the block and they're willing and they have the guts to keep walking down the block, even though they fell down the hole a couple times, guess what? They eventually learn where the hole is and they walk right around it. And now the hole is no longer a problem for them. So my question to you is, how many times do you come across that hole and you're afraid to actually drop in it? So you don't know how to get out of the hole when you get into it. How many times, right? See, what's happening when you're growing in your business and you're taking consistent action, you may not get the results you want right away, but what's happening is you're growing and you're learning about the holes in your life and your business so that you can be able to avoid them so that later on it's never a problem for you, right? See, everybody has this dream life and this imagination in their mind. Oh, I want to be able to make more money doing less work. Yeah, that's all good. And that sounds amazing. And it is an amazing feeling to get to this point, to make more money doing less work. But to get to a point of making more money doing less work, it requires a lot of work, right? Get to a point of making more money doing less work requires work to get there, right? But eventually you get there. Why? Because you know where your vision is, you know where your destination is. Eventually, as long as you stay on that road, you'll learn where all the holes are and all the speed bumps and all the potholes are. So certain things that used to affect you before never affect you in business. But if you keep quitting every time you get started, you never actually come across the holes. You never actually meet the speed bumps. You never actually meet the hurdles. So whenever it happens, you don't know how to react to it. Because when it happens, you quit and you walk the other way. So you don't know how to get over it. You don't know how to get out of the hole. And I'm sure that makes perfect sense. So when you go through it, right, and you start taking action and you start taking action from a place of faith in your business, you'll notice you'll get past the hole with no problem. More and more every single day. Life gets easier. Business gets easier. You start getting more results, doing less work. And because you know where the hole is, you've been there down this road before. You've been down this journey before. You didn't give up last time. You didn't give up the time before that. And you didn't give up the 10 times before that. And guess what? All that's happening is the more you go down this road, the better and better you get, and the more smoother your road is getting. The smoother and smoother your road is getting. But how many of us are willing to grind? How many of us are willing to stay committed? How many of us are willing to stay faithful? How many of us are willing to stay driven in our business to a point where we get past all the speed bumps, we get past the pots in the road and all this stuff, and we get to a smooth, nice road? How many of us are willing to do that? Because the potholes, the speed bumps is always first, baby. Like I said at the beginning of the last video, the same wind blows on us all. It's just what we do with the wind. How are we directing our sail? The same wind blows on us all. You were broke, I was broke too. That's not an excuse. You didn't know you were going to eat the next meal. I didn't know if I was going to eat the next meal either. That's not an excuse, right? And as long as we allow it to be an excuse, it will be true. Well, guess what? You're too broke to be in business to change your situation. Well, then that's true if you feel that way, right? But when you make a decision that, no, that's not true, I'm going to change it, here's what I'm going to do, the universe has to give you what you want. The universe has to give you what you want. John Belcher, I'll see you guys later. If you got value from this video and you're not in business yet with us, make sure to hit me up and get started right away, or hit me up in my inbox or whatnot. If you are in business with us, continue taking action, especially on that closing stuff. I know who's taking action, who's not taking action. Yes, of course, not most people are serious about this business and they are taking action and do what they got to do. So I respect those people who are taking action on changing their life, changing their business, on the strategies and the training that we have in the platform, because that stuff is super, super powerful, very powerful, worth way more than $2,000, that information on the closing strategies and all that stuff. So keep taking action, keep getting better in your business, because you will. It's the only thing that can happen. You have to get better. The more you learn about the potholes in your business, and the more you get over the road bumps, and the more you get past the critics, the doubters, the haters, and all that stuff, you got to get better. It's just building your character. You're getting better. But when you're afraid to go through some things, you can't grow through it. If you don't go through anything, you can't grow through anything. I'm going to say that again. If you don't go through anything, you cannot grow through anything. And if you can't grow, then you can't get to that lifestyle you want. It's John Belcher tuning out. If you got value, drop some comments on these videos. Let people know, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys later. John Belcher, go out there, crush it. 300 to freedom, baby. Peace.